Okay, welcome back. A few things that I have changed. My layout. To do that, what you do is you just grab one of these timelines and just kind of move it around wherever you need to. I just moved it up in this corner because it makes it easier for us to see our pegs, so I don't have to scroll so much. And since we're not utilizing this just yet, it'd be wise just to kind of keep it on the down low, on the hush hush, so to say. I did do a few other things, like I messed around with auto patching. So if you get our auto patch here, you can place them however to blend certain parts in. And since we had our stuff composited, I was able to bypass the composites to what I needed auto patch. I also had to do a little digging because I had messed up. I forgot that you were supposed to do every little layer individual. So how this one is on its own, and it's on its own drawing and stuff. I should have done the same with the stomach and all that good stuff, so that when I do the auto patch, it just kind of patches a lot better together. And I could have used like a cutter and all this other stuff, but I did go back and I did open up points for the drawing to patch together. See, this one's always going to auto patch to the body. If I go here, let's see if I could isolate that drawing. I deleted some of the, I wouldn't say deleted, but I cleared some of these nodes out. So this was a full circle. All I did was open it up. If you press Control, you can add a node where you need to, and then just highlight over it. And let's see, I want to delete this one. We'll delete that line, but we're not going to do that. So I went ahead and did that on things that were necessary for that. So if I go through the rest of this, it'll pretty much clear it all. So that being said, I got her chunky thighs, everything all together. The patch, what it does is it just throws the color over the line art. So our auto patch here and here cover the line art, but we don't need to cover it here, so we didn't need an auto patch here. And if we're going to ever invert the rig, it'll just, use it from the other side. So she'll have two motions, and then we'll be able to move her head a little bit. Not too much, but just enough to warp it in a sense. So, that being said, we'll get to effects. One of the effects I really wanted to talk about was the dynamic spring. Now, this one's really cool because this puts kind of, I call it physics, but it's not really physics. It like emulates what kind of bounce you want to put on something if it were a spring. And if you open it up, you have all these values that you could mess with the inertia. I usually just keep it simple and just mess around with the active values to make it rotate or jiggle how much I need it. And I'm going to go ahead and add this to the ears because we want her ears to flop when she turns her head. But automatically. What? Indeed, automatically. It will. There was a few lessons out there that I learned to utilize this on. Obviously, Onion Skins, I'm a big follower of that guy, so I'd go check his channel out. And all we have to do to add this spring is we have our top and our bottom, right? So the part that we add the spring to is going to be the bouncy, rotating part, right? If I add it to the top, it's going to bounce and spring the top. If I do it on the bottom, it'll bounce and spring the bottom. So here, let me give you an example. So if I hit Alt, it'll connect it to our 1 and 2, right? I can leave it here. We're just going to do this ear, right? Just for now, just so I can show you the difference. It's going to be a significant difference too, considering that the rig is it's pretty flat right now. Like, these are just default values. So I'm so smart. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the, I should have done before I got here. I'm going to go to the head node. I'm going to do a rotation on the head node. So I'm going to rotate this about that much. All right? Trip out. this is going to be the start of the head. I'm going to go ahead on here and make sure if I press O, it'll take us to our head peg. I'm going to go ahead and drop a keyframe here. And if I move them over here, let me actually turn that sound off because we don't need it right now. I have these rigged on an audio because I have the audio cut up in different scenes and whatnot, but we'll deal with that later. Anyways, if I go back here, it'll take us to our head. I'm going to drop another peg here, and then this is where we're going to have our rotation of the head. Now see how the ear kind of stays back, right? Now, what it's doing is it's creating like, you know, like when you pull on a slingshot, it's holding its position to jiggle. So when we connect the two frames together and we play it, see how it kind of like does its own little physics? It's pretty cool, huh? Boom. And we're gonna add this on both ears. For me, that's a little too bouncy still, just because it kind of cuts away at the other piece. I'm probably gonna have to go into the drawing, and I'm probably going to have to, like for this ear example, probably gonna have to draw the full circle around the ear instead of having the invisible drawing in between the ears. So we'll probably have to connect this all the way so that it doesn't break that way. But that's what dynamic spring does. So if I add this to both ears, both tops, right? Press and hold Alt. And we want these two guys plugged in, right? So I got those guys in. I'm going to move these guys up a little bit so I'll give them some room to breathe. Alright, so now we got these two guys in. When we make our motion, they'll both kind of hop and squabble back into place, and they have their normal spring motion. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so on your rig, I don't know what you did, you know, but if you wanted to add any more spring on this to anything else, like her cheeks or like her thighs when she moves, you could do the same thing. I'd advise to keep it simple. Like for the tail, I have her tail on the body. It's its own little thing. So if I move the tail and it wishes up, it'll spring the entire tail, so I don't have to animate the full thing, so to say. Alright, so we got a deformation KO tail, right? Let's go ahead and drop the spring. I think it's above. If I'm wrong, we can mess around with it and figure it out. Alright, so now if I go here to the tail and I push, oh no, we don't want that. We actually want the tail on a peg. I did not make a peg for the tail. Shame on me. Shame on me. Alright, so we have this kinetic input. Let me zero that out. Oh no, we do. It's right here. Sorry. Spring. Right here. We're going to move this up. Drop our spring here, because this is where our spring should be. You know me, it's just kidding. Just kidding. Alright, now we got our spring in there. I'm going to move it here so it's not confusing. You don't think that's part of it, but we got our spring here. We are going to go and get our tail peg, and we're going to rotate this up. So what we'll do is press O on our thing again, and it'll take us to the tail peg, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and drop a keyframe on that. I'm going to move it up as she turns her head. And then this is what it's going to do, is it's going to lift, but it's going to bounce up and down. So now watch this. If we do this, it just does its thing, right? So if we connect them, it should bounce. It's not bouncing, which probably means that we need a multi-point constraint for this. That being said, instead of using this rig here, we would have to use a multi-point constraint from the top to the bottom and then peg it like how we did one of our arms. So I might just do that. I'll do it away from this so that way I could hold all this information because I kind of want it to lag individually. I think honestly I want to say that I do want to say that if I do this, I could put spring on the main node for this guy. Let's try that out. Let's get explorative. Oops. Let's go here, cut this guy away. We're gonna go in here. And we want the main curve. To get things to show, you can press this. It'll show you your rig thing and which one you have highlighted is whichever one's gonna be moved down. See how they all kind of move over? I'm gonna put the spring on this guy right here. And since it's going down, it's gonna be a little funky, but let's go ahead and drop him in there. So we got spring here. And then it goes out to the other guy, which automatically wants to do here. But what we could do is we could change this position, right? Oh, it's because we're on the other side of the animation. Okay. As it rests, it looks like what I'm doing is just messing the rig up. Let's see. Let's drop it on this pig. No, it just goes the other way. Yep, I am just messing the rig up. We will do this on a 2-point constraint. I'll show you on another video. But in the meantime, if you wanted to mock up what I did just to catch up, feel free to go ahead and do that. And that's a lesson on effects. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, feel free to follow me and send me a message. You know, I don't mind working that up at all. All right, thank you.